Hey, so what is going on, everyone? It is me, Mr. Mario, and today I'm going to be bringing you a different type of video. I'm going to be comparing three microphones that I have. Now, I have to say, when it comes to USB microphones, I prefer blue. I like blue. I'm sure there's better microphones out there. Hell, I know there are. However, I really like blue. I've never had issues with their microphones. And it first started because a lot of YouTubers started using the blue Snowball, which is pictured in the middle here, as you can see. It's a very popular YouTube mic. I ended up getting the Yeti first, and I got it over 2 years ago because I want to improve my production quality on my content, for my audio video stuff, specifically audio. Now, I ended up getting the Yeti because I wanted to get the Snowball, but there was just something missing with the audio that I didn't like. Then I heard the Yeti, and I heard some comparisons, and I fell in love with it, and I picked it up just because it was a nice, easy-to-use USB microphone. And the Yeti normally ranks above the Snowball, so I decided to get the Yeti. Now, last year, at the end of last year, I ended up picking up the Snowflake, which is the microphone to the far left. I picked that up because I wanted to get a smaller microphone and something that would be portable, and also at the time, I was wanting to try and do some recordings on PS4 and all that, which I still have yet to do, actually, through party chats and everything, but I found out you need a USB type microphone, so I decided to pick up the Snowflake. I actually almost picked up the Snowball. However, I saw the Snowflake, it was a little cheaper, it was a lot smaller, and I said, you know what? I'm going to give this a try. And finally, I picked up the blue Snowball, which is pictured in the middle and is very famous and well known on YouTube, because it was $5. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I wasn't interested in the blue Snowball, but I know it's a very popular microphone, and there was some chick who was selling it in town for $5. I don't really know if she knew what she had, but I asked if I could buy it. She said yes, so $5 later, I got a blue Snowball. So I said, you know what? Let's go ahead and do a comparison of all three of these microphones. Now, I want to say, while I am doing the actual video right here the whole time, I'm going to be using my blue Yeti that has a pop filter on it, which is the blue branded pop filter called the Pop. I'm using this because this is my typical setup for videos. However, when I use the other microphones, I'm not going to be using a pop filter. I'm not going to be fixing up the audio, doing any post-processing or anything like that. They will be recorded losslessly, so in WAV format through Audacity, and then put in here, and I'm not going to be using a pop filter, as I said, so it's going to sound different than what it sounds like right now, even when I do use the Yeti for the comparison, and it's meant to be like that. So when I actually specify on screen that I'm using a different type of microphone, you all will see and hear the difference. But if I'm not specifying at any other time, I am using the blue Yeti with a pop filter. So going from left to right, first off, we're going to look at the Snowflake. Now, look at how small this thing is. It is very lightweight, very compact, very small. It is meant to be a portable microphone that you can pocket or you could just hook onto somewhere easily, and it's just supposed to be a complete package on its own. Now, this thing is so small that I actually wanted to compare it with something that most people might have. So this is a PS4 game, as you can see, Diablo 3 right here, which is just a typical Blu-ray or PS4 case. The PS4 cases are slightly thicker than regular Blu-ray cases, but as you can see, that thing is very small, and I just want to use that case as a comparison, as it is kind of a common thing that most people would at least have seen or held or have in their home. Now, as you all can see right here, you can go ahead and prop up the microphone piece itself and even swivel it around in a complete 360-degree angle, and that is how I actually have it set up for the recording itself, because really that's about one of the only ways you can do it if you keep it in the form factor like that. In addition to that, check this out, you could actually take the thing apart, and it houses the mini USB cable that you use on there, so you could put it all together, open it up, and then it just takes one mini USB cable on the back that goes, from the microphone to your computer. It installs your drivers and your setup. It's as easy as that. Now check this out as well, you could also just take the white part back on there that has the storage and go ahead, pop the microphone off, and then you can use the metal part itself just to clip on something. So for example, if you want to clip it onto the side of a table or a computer, like a computer monitor, by that I mean like a laptop monitor or something, it's very easy to set it up like that if you so wish to. Now next up here, we have the ever infamous blue Snowball on YouTube right here. I'll be honest, I don't like how this microphone looks. It comes with a tripod stand, it's kind of a short microphone, and then the thing itself is just a ball. Now you can swivel it up and down like you can see right there, and you're just supposed to talk into the part where it says blue, as that is where the main microphone is. As for the little tripod itself, you can also unscrew it, so if you, for example, have a microphone mount that you want to use on your desk or anything like that, you can go ahead and just mount the microphone like so. I can't really demonstrate it because I don't have anything like that, but that is if you have any hardware that is adequate for it. But the thing itself, I don't like how it looks, I'll be honest, but it does seem, you know, the build quality seems decent enough on it. Now, as you can see down at the bottom, that is where you can screw it into anything else that is not the tripod, and up top, you know, right around the back, you have to use a different type of USB cable. So I believe that is a USB-B cable, otherwise known as a USB printer cable, which is just the informal term for it. But the USB port that is on your printer is going to be the same one that is going to be on your blue Snowball. And finally, last but not least at all, we have the Blue Yeti itself. Now, right at the beginning, you're going to notice that there is a volume dial along with a mute button on the front that lights up when you have this plugged in. That is for the 3.5mm jack that is on the bottom of the microphone itself, because you can plug a headset or speakers into there. If you look at the bottom, as you can see when I swivel it down here, you have a mini USB port, which is used for plugging into your computer, the output right there, which is 3.5mm, and you also have the circular port right there, which you can use to take the microphone off the base that they give you and screw it onto a mic stand or anything else as you please. Now, on the back of the microphone, you have a gain dial, which is supposed to control how loud or quiet your recording is going to be, and you also have 4 options, which is what I love on here. So, for example, if you want to do omnidirectional, so you want to have a bunch of people around the mic recording, if you want it to be cardioid, so it's only you, or if you want to do a duet, for example, you are able to do that from the options right there, and the microphone will change. Now, I personally like how this microphone is set up and how it is used. I just use the stock mic stand itself, and I just try to not bump my desk or table or anything like that. But I will say, I do have a lot of love for this microphone. I think it is built very well. It is a very solid microphone, and it's much better, you know, in build quality compared to the other two. Definitely better than the blue Snowball, but the Snowflake is completely portable, so there's not really a proper way to compare it like that unless you want to use this as your complete main microphone. Now, up next, we're going to have the actual comparison. I'm not going to do any type of audio editing or post-processing on these 3 samples right here. I typed up a script, and I went off that script word for word to the best of my ability. You know, my voice is going to be a little bit different on each one, but that's something I just can't properly control, unfortunately. But on each one, I just use, you know, about the same settings. I was in the same environment. I don't do any type of post-processing. No pop filters were used or anything like that. So on screen, you are going to see the name of the microphone that I'm going to use for each recording, and these are the raw recording samples from these microphones. Hey, so what is going on, everyone? It is me, Mr. Mario, and today I'm going to be bringing you this comparison of my blue microphones. This is just a quick scripted and informal test to let you all hear the difference in audio quality between these microphones. No post-processing is being done to the audio recordings, and no pop filters are being used on these microphones at the time of testing. Well, let's get on with the review. Hey, so what is going on, everyone? It is me, Mr. Mario, and today I'm going to be bringing you this comparison of my blue microphones. This is just a quick scripted and informal test to let you all hear the difference in audio quality between these microphones. No post-processing is being done to the audio recordings, and no pop filters are being used on these microphones at the time of testing. Well, let's get on with the review. Hey, so what is going on, everyone? It is me, Mr. Mario, and today I'm going to be bringing you this comparison of my blue microphones. This is just a quick, scripted, and informal test to let you all hear the difference in audio quality between these microphones. No post-processing is being done to the audio recordings, and no pop filters are being used on these microphones at the time of testing. Well, let's get on with the review. So now that you have heard all 3 of those recordings, you all are entitled to your own opinions, but these are mine. First off, the Snowflake, I am very impressed at the sound quality that comes from that little device. It sounds excellent. You know, for the price you're paying, you can buy it for about $30-$40, something like that. It's really portable. You can pocket it, you can take it anywhere, and just doing a raw recording like that sounded great. Now, yes, there is a little bit of background noise that you pick up and all that, and I can't really see you, you know, putting a pop filter or anything like that on this, just because it's really small, so there's not that much of a way to protect it. However, if you are in a rush or you're on the go and you need to do a decent recording and you don't really want to have much of a setup, the Snowflake is perfect for that. The Snowball is honestly my least favorite of the three out here. I feel like, you know, for the form factor and for the price that you're paying for it, you should be getting some better sound quality out of it. And here's the thing, you can. If you do some post-processing, especially, it really depends on the acoustics of your area. So if you get into a nice area that doesn't have a lot of reverb, and has some pretty nice acoustics, you can get some great sound quality out of there. And another way to even improve it is to put a pop filter on there, because believe me, I've heard very good quality come out of a Snowball. Now, this right here, my environment probably wasn't the best, but I tried to do a fair environment for all three of them, and the Snowball, it just felt like it was recording more of an echo than what was needed. But even with the microphone itself, my voice didn't sound as warm in there. And it's not just me. With other commentators I've heard use the Snowball, their voices just didn't sound as warm as they should be, or as I would, you know, predict or expect from a recording or from them. And that is where the Yeti comes in. Now, the Yeti, I was recording using cardioid setting. That means it is set up to just record whatever is in front of it, and the Yeti still impresses me to this day. It actually does because of that, because I set up cardioid. It wasn't picking up, you know, any of the other audio that was going on really the sides or behind my microphone or anything like that. Like the Snowball was really bad with doing that. The Snowflake was okay with it. The Yeti, you're able to control it a lot more. You also get a warmer voice and just a more human sounding voice from it. However, one issue with the Yeti that I experienced before I got a pop filter on it was if you hit any hard P's or hard B's or anything like that, you're going to get a little spike on there that you all probably heard. So even with the Yeti, you can either turn down the settings, you can kind of tune your environment, or you could get a pop filter, because I feel like the Yeti does a very good job recording already, but then I got a pop filter on it and it really eliminated most, if not all, of my problems. There's still some minimal ones here, like for example, if I bump the microphone, but that's my own thing right there. So out of all three of them, this is my verdict on them. First off, if you are wanting a portable or a budget microphone or a beginner microphone, the Snowflake is awesome. I was not expecting great sound quality out of that little small device right there, but completely blew me away with it. I wasn't trying to, you know, use a pun there or anything like that. Next up, you know, if you are wanting to record more at your desk or anything like that, the Yeti is absolutely fantastic. Now, the only thing I really don't like about the Yeti, if I use it on its own, is if I plug anything like my headset into the microphone itself, I do hear my voice coming from there, which I really don't want to hear. Now, you know, for other people who do audio recording and all that, they might want to hear their own voice. For me, I don't really want to, because like right now while I'm recording this, I can hear my voice in my head as it's, you know, coming out of my mouth, but at the same time, I don't really want to hear my voice in my own ears, you know, coming back in there. So I just don't want to hear my voice twice is the thing, but that's more of a personal issue there. But I still recommend the Yeti. I think it is one of the best USB microphones you can get. And then finally, the Snowball. This microphone, it's kind of hard to talk about, honestly, because I've heard good quality come out of it, but in this instance, I really haven't, and I've never been super blown away by the quality of this microphone. So it's not really a good microphone, but it's not a bad microphone at the same time. As I said before, you know, it is definitely a lot colder of a sound than you're going to get from, you know, a Yeti or any other microphone, any other maybe higher end microphone. And you can make this microphone sound better. You could do some post-processing, you could change, you know, the room you're in, your environment, your acoustics, anything like that. But honestly, I would recommend just kind of spending a little bit more money to get a better microphone, whether it would be a Yeti or maybe an Audio-Technica microphone or anything else like that. Normally, you know, the good to great USB microphones, like the really great ones, you're going to be spending around $100 on. At least that's the MSRP for them in US dollars, of course. But honestly, I'm not a fan of the Snowball itself. So, I mean, if you have to use it, sure. And as I said, you can definitely make it sound better, but it is pretty limiting with what you can do, especially since it doesn't have any other extra settings or anything like that. And the reason why I'm kind of coming down hard on the Snowball itself is because I'm pulling better sound quality out of my Snowflake than my Snowball, and that shouldn't be happening. Personally, I would just kind of glaze over the Snowball. Here's my thing about it. When I was first wanting to get a mic, I could choose between either the Snowball or the Yeti. With the comparisons I heard, I fell in love with the Yeti. I picked it up. I had no regrets. I picked up the Snowflake because I needed something while I was on the go, and then I picked up the Snowball just because it was cheap. That's the only reason why I bought it. I had no desire to get it. In fact, I almost bought the Snowball, but then I found out the Snowflake was a thing, and it was just a few dollars less at the time, so I said, you know what? I want to try out the Snowflake because I've never really heard of anything about this microphone, and it's a lot smaller, so I could use it, you know, for example, I wanted to originally use it to set up as a microphone for my PlayStation 4, but it's also small enough where I can take it around on trips with me, and if I need to do a video on the go, I can do it easily with the Snowflake. The Snowball, not so much. However, that is why I like having the Yeti as a desk microphone, and then the Snowflake as a portable microphone, but the Snowball, I'm just not a fan of it personally. I'm sure there's several people who like the Snowball, who even love it, who have it. I'm sure there's Snowball people who are watching this video right now. I'm just not a fan of that microphone. I've never been a big fan of the Snowball. So my recommendation, the Snowflake, it's a very good starter microphone or a portable microphone or on-the-go microphone, but if you're wanting a true desk microphone, I would recommend spending the extra money and get the Yeti, because all those other settings as well too will really help you out. And even if you can, because the Yeti itself has very good sound, but even if you can, I'd recommend spending a little bit more to get a pop filter with it. And it doesn't have to be the Pop by Blue. It can just be a regular pop filter that you pop on. And there's so many more things you can do with microphones, but those are my recommendations at least. But then again, I am not a professional at all, so people might be, you know, cursing at me at the end of this video. You know what? It's all good. This is my hearing. This is, you know, my recording. I can't really do too much about it. But everyone save your hearing, because once you lose it, it's gone. Anyways, this is Mr. Mario signing off. Thank you all for watching, everyone.